Hello, welcome to the Orbital audiocast. My name is Gap Storm, traveling the cosmos to bring you cheap entertainment. Most of the time it degrades into a silly debate on who would win in a fight, Boolean loop string theory or recombined infinite worlds theory. It's stupid, because we all know infinite worlds kicks string theory in the fractals. But I digress as always. We broadcast to 12,344 planets throughout the universe, all of whom deny hearing the program. I know better because I see the pointing and laughing when I go planet-side. Maybe that's the hat, but I'm pretty sure it's my acclaimed witty banter, which Pegasus lately called adequate and acceptable for all audiences. High praise indeed. Anyway, I would like to welcome a new market to the show, marking the 12,345th planet to get this program is, let's see here, Earth! Yes, Earth. We have been looking forward to breaking into the Earth market for the last 3,000 years, but we couldn't beam the signal directly into a human's head. We did attempt to abduct a few malleable participants and inject our show rectally, but met with unsatisfactory results and a few potential lawsuits. Good thing the brain wipe is still operational. Maybe it's better if you forgot that part. Just stare into the little red light, if available. Earth has such a rich history and an unhealthy lust for media consumption, so it's really the ideal market for this show. This will be coming to all you Earthlings in podcast form, because BrainJack technology has not yet reached you. What's wrong with you? You haven't gotten BrainJacks yet? It's like living in the Stone Age. Anyway, let's see here. What's going on up here? Well, Andy Droid, he had to power down temporarily to recharge. New market, sorry. So Andy is my producer, and he handles the soundboard. He is an android, and that's why his name is Andy Droid. See, Droid is right in there. Anyway, don't tell him that, because he hates that term. I think he's currently going with Artificial American, in honor of our new listeners, in fact. Whatever works, I guess. Anyway, it's pretty convenient, because he can just plug himself into the reactor core. He can interface with almost anything, really, which is the only reason I know the term dubstep. Still kind of confused on what dubstep is, but I know that I don't like it. Since we have new listeners, let me give you a brief synopsis of the show. As I said, my name is Gapstorm. I am technically not part of a species, alien or otherwise, but that is a discussion for another time. What you really need to know is that I'm a member of the TSC. Okay, that's the time-space continuum. It's not just a concept, but a fine group of individuals from all corners of the universe. We were successfully able to travel through all of time and space in our pursuit of knowledge and anecdotal storytelling. Unfortunately, they are all gone. Not dead, I hate saying that, but gone, if nothing else. You won't be seeing them anytime soon, I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. I'd rather not get into the particulars on how that happened, but needless to say, I'm the last existing member of the TSC. While all the bases and ships were destroyed in that same fateful accident that we totally do not have to go into details on, I was able to save my ship, the HK-47, that's the Henkin Koch flagship, Series 4, number 7, and luckily I was able to save all the timey-wimey technology that allows me to travel the length and breadth of the cosmos. Many creatures, when given such power, would seek fame, fortune, glory, perhaps a fez. I, however, decided to do an audio cast where I ask the most important beings about generally meaningless stuff. Of course, I suppose everything is pretty meaningless in the grand scheme of things, which is kind of my justification for doing a show instead of deposing megalomaniacs. Anyway, before I get to my guest, I need to do some business. Back when we started the show, 5,000 years ago, in Earth terminology at least, we took on Glargax Pharmaceutical as a sponsor. It was a perfect match. We needed money, and they needed their clients to stop asking about Dobroseph Prime's inflated tentacle problem. On that note, Dobrsef Prime does not have an inflated tentacle problem. Trust me, I'm in radio. So Glargax has been with us ever since, and I'd like to do a quick plug for them now. Glargax Pharmaceutical. Do you have green pus coming out of your eye? We can make it purple. Glargax Pharmaceutical, the color changer. That sounds impressive. I wonder if it's a pill or an enema. I'll have to look into that. We'll figure it out later. It's really not important at the moment. Since this is our inaugural Earthbound episode, my guest is George Washington, the first president of the United States. We were so happy to rip Washington out of his timeline for a chat because he's such an important figure in Earth history. He was the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War and was one of the founding fathers of that country. He presided over the convention that drafted the U.S. Constitution, which conveniently established the position of president. You know, the position he ended up filling. Very interesting. Might have to ask him about that. I think there's a scandal brewing there. Wonder if anyone realized that. Whatever. During the Revolutionary War, he fought the British, known colloquially as Redcoats, due to their red coats. Not a very creative title, I suppose, but an accurate one. He served 2 terms, that's 8 Earth years, as president. He refused to run for a 3rd term, setting a precedent. President. It's about the president. Anyway, for his successors, because that became a standard, apparently, on Earth, that you don't serve more than 2 terms. I'm sure everyone followed that rule. Everyone. At his death, he was eulogized by Henry Lee. I really like this quote, which I looked up on your internet. I hear that that's very popular down there. He said that Washington was first in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen. Wow, he was something else, wasn't he? He is ranked among the top 3 presidents of the United States. He was the leader of the first successful revolution against a colonial empire in world history, which is probably why people thought so highly of him. They named the Capitol after him and had his face engraved on Mount Rushmore with 3 other guys that I'll have to try researching at some point. I like the one with the mustache. He seems colorful. Anyway, we were able to grab Washington shortly after he retired in 1797. We tried to get him earlier, but he was apparently pretty busy with the whole founding a nation thing and defeating an empire. He was just too focused on state affairs to get a good interview out of him, so we had to wait until he was done with politics and had adequately relaxed with a bit of laudanum. So here it is, the very first Earth audio cast, or I guess I should start saying podcast now. Okay. New market, gotta get used to this, of Orbital. Hope you enjoy it. It's not much, but it's something.
What is this place?
Oh, it's
Is it a ship?
It is a
It's
ship.
a ship.
It is a ship.
Okay. All right. So what would you like from me?
Well, I was going to ask you a few questions about your time as President of the United States.
Okay. Well, it's fine. I am... You're some kind of alien, correct?
I suppose you could say that. I'm not really, but... Sure, call me an alien, that's fine.
This is going to be one for the memoirs.
You won't actually remember any of this, but I just wanted to ask you a few questions since you are such a notable figure in world history.
Well, what would you like to ask me?
Well, I was going to ask you a little bit about the presidency.
Yes, you're right. I was the President of the United States.
Good. I'm glad we established that.
I don't really know.
Well, you know, why don't we try something here pretty simple. I was really interested in a story that I heard once upon a time. It says that you chopped down a cherry tree, and the whole idea was you couldn't lie to your father about it. So,
yes.
Yeah. And
the cherry tree. Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Well, the cherry tree was a story, a bit of a legend.
Yes, it was.
I try not to encourage people to talk too much about it.
Oh, come on.
It's
It's a great story.
Well,
It's a
yes,
great-
I mean, there was a cherry tree at one point.
All
yes,
right.
But it was, I didn't chop it down all the way. I
Well,
happened to throw an axe into it. My father was quite angry, which is why I couldn't literally tell a lie. I mean, it was in the tree. There's not much I could do about
I do suppose
about that.
Yeah, I suppose that changes things a little bit.
But the idea that I chopped down the tree entirely, I don't know. I'll encourage the myth if that's what it would take.
Doesn't take
if anyone
much.
learned a lesson from it, I suppose that was a good thing, a happy accident.
I can only imagine.
Yes. But I'd prefer not to lie.
All right.
Because I can't tell lies. That's not something I do.
Hence the myth, of course. Now is it true? Because I really need to know this. Did you actually wear a wig?
Most people think I wore a wig. I never really did. No. I would powder my hair.
Powdered your hair?
Powdered my hair.
Okay.
Well, it's actually very obvious in most of the paintings that were done of me and my family.
We have a lot of painting scholars out there.
Wearing powder on my hair, but I never had a wig.
You never had a wig.
This wig thing was a falsehood. Spread around by liars and my detractors.
Oh, okay.
I try not to encourage them any further than I have to. Of course, I'm retired now. So
yes, you are.
I really have no reason to indulge them any further.
Well, all right. What about if we try one of the other myths about you? Wooden teeth.
Wooden teeth? No, my teeth were never made of wood.
No, they weren't?
No. They...
Well, what were they made of?
That was something that you had wrong.
Okay, but
they
you
were
had
actually carved from ivory, made from
ivory,
hippopotamus, and I believe it was an elephant. That's what
very exotic.
Told me. And they were held together with these gold springs fastened to the back.
That's a Rube Gold
wood.
That's a Rube Goldberg device, if I ever heard of one. I mean, that's incredible. I know you don't know who that is. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your physical prowess. They said that you were abnormally strong. It seems like I'm wondering if that's actually myth or reality.
I did have great physical strength, and
if you do say so yourself.
For everyone that I met, Jefferson was quite impressed.
Jefferson,
you liked my riding skill too.
Oh yeah,
he was very impressed with that.
So let's see. According to historians, you actually love to dance. Is that right?
I do love to dance.
Really?
I do love to dance.
That's great.
Often attend the theater, and I'll go to a ball or two.
Getting all over the place.
Take Martha out for a spin. She often enjoys that.
Sounds sexy.
Anything you can do to keep your wife happy is worth doing.
All right. I won't go too much into that. I'd rather not... Anyway, why don't we talk a little bit about, you are retired now. Obviously, you like to go dancing. Do you drink at all? Is that something you're doing?
Drink, you say? No, I only drink in moderation.
Aww.
Everything in moderation. Everything for Providence.
Providence? What?
Provenance. It's it's not really God, but it is, it is what we use as a foundation. We have it as an active force in our life.
Sounds godlike.
Particularly in the American lives.
Okay.
Every single victory in war can be credited to Providence. The foundation of the nation could actually be credited to Providence.
Right.
Even the fact that we had a constitutional convention can be credited to Providence. The federal government, prosperity of the republic, you can credit to Providence.
That does sound kind of like God, though.
No, it's not so much God.
It's not
the idea that it is inside of you. Providence is a force that you have inside of you, whatever you want to call it. But it is a thing that you have personally inside of you.
So does that keep us from seeing America as a religious country? Is that why you did it?
Well, I'm sure no one will ever question that. No.
Right.
They should never. One's personal religious beliefs do not influence their political standings in any way, shape, or form. That's the American way.
Sure. Okay, so maybe we'll just switch gears now. Okay, so, let's talk about something happier. Slavery. So how do you feel about that?
Well, it is true. I do have some slaves. I do oppose slavery. Which I suppose I can tell you now because it's a spaceship and there's no one around who cares.
No, we don't.
But I did oppose slavery.
Okay.
I could not really do it publicly, but on the moral and even the economic grounds, I did oppose slavery. And I do plan on releasing my slaves.
Oh, good.
Once I die.
That would be great.
I'd like them to be able to take care of Martha, but I have a feeling Martha will probably be all right with letting them go.
She seems pretty able-bodied.
She's a very able woman.
Yes.
She should be able to take care of herself.
She does have to put up with you,
Definitely.
right? Yeah. So I hear that you had some tobacco farms. Are you still smoking?
No,
Did you smoke
I
at one
stopped smoking
point?
many years ago.
It's a good habit to give up.
Yes,
You know?
smoking and drinking, man's worst vices. They should be given up as quickly as possible.
It was getting to be a little bit of a problem.
Yes.
Back in your time.
Post-revolutionary Virginia, I was much happier to say, was less likely to force guests to drink and make it an honor to send them home drunk.
Well, the revolution makes people
happy.
crazy.
It was getting too rabble-rousy beforehand.
I suppose so.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So now that you're retired, what do you plan on doing if you're not going to be smoking and drinking?
Oh, wait, now I'm retired. Well, I guess I would devote my time to my plantations and my
so you
other
still
business interests.
Running those,
a
okay.
distillery.
Oh, really?
We are very
so
happy. It's producing its first batch of spirits just a couple short months ago.
Oh, well, good luck with that. You know, I hate to ask because we hate to talk shop here. What am I thinking? Of course, we love to talk about shop, but War of Independence. Okay, what was that all about again? I'm confused.
Why did we fight the Revolutionary War?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not from around
well,
here.
We fought the Revolutionary War because of King George.
Okay,
King George.
Who is he?
A near tyrannical dictator
in England. And you wanted your independence from him?
We wanted our independence from England. Of course we did.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you want independence from
I don't know.
Totalitarian society?
Job security?
Independence from colonial power. We wanted out. We wanted out.
You wanted out.
So we got out. Yes, we did.
Oh, okay. Oh, good for you. You've taken your future into your own hands.
We did.
A lot of men died. I take
many men lost their lives. Unfortunately, many men lost their lives.
That's tragic.
In a very tragic display.
I just said that.
One we wish we had never had to fight in the first place.
We never want to fight wars.
But it was inevitable. My good friend Franklin,
Ben Franklin,
I think he said it best. He told us that we would either hang together or hang separately. And
that's a good one.
I know now more than I did at the beginning how right he was.
They should remember these quotes. I hope somebody wrote that down. So I just wanted to inquire a little bit about modern American culture. I don't know if you're familiar with any of it, but I was wondering how you feel about Kardashians.
I have never heard of any Kardashians.
You haven't?
Were they soldiers or
they were really
scullery maids?
Probably more the latter, actually.
So more the scullery maids?
Yes, absolutely, the scullery maids.
All right.
Yeah, in that scenario. You weren't frequenting scullery maids, I suppose.
I don't understand why they're so important.
I don't either. I really
No, I really don't.
They do seem to be everywhere nowadays from what I've seen of Earth right now.
Are they?
Yes, they are. And
what can you tell me about American culture today?
I think you'd be kind of disappointed.
Do you know much about my country? Did it survive?
It did survive.
Thrive.
It did thrive. Yes, it did.
Into the next millennia. We were always hoping that it would survive for at least a while.
It seems
being ultimately destroyed by power-mad dictators and the like.
Well, power-mad dictators not so much, but pop culture helped out a lot. I need to get a little bit more into it in order to understand. Yeah. So, but yeah, America's still there. So. You should be proud of that, I guess.
So whether they survived or not is not up for debate. It's the quality of which they're
Well, let me give you an example. So every season, apparently, every year, they have a competition where they find an idol that they can then apparently sacrifice to some god. Well, I guess in this case, Providence.
And they do this regularly?
Every season, it seems like. I don't really know the point.
Really?
Yeah, you've got me, Lieutenant. That doesn't even make sense, does it?
I might have to go back and rethink this whole revolution thing.
Well, I wouldn't get too hung up on the details. It
might not have turned out exactly the way I planned.
Well, it's just different now. That's just the way the country is.
Oh, no, America is full of scholars and inventors. The best and the brightest from Europe eventually came over to America, and we embraced them. We embraced the academia of it all.
Well,
the world you're talking about seems sensationalistic at best, and I cannot believe that this is the country that we founded.
Well, things change at a certain point. It's 230 something years later. It's going to change.
I'm slightly disappointed.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
I don't like being here anymore. This seems awfully. It just made me feel very bad.
Okay.
About everything.
Well, I'm very sorry about that. I obviously didn't want you to feel bad. You were a revolutionary. You did so much great stuff, and I know that you have a lot that you have to get back to, so I'll release you back into the wild. And
yes, I do have to thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I have to thank you.
Thank you
for proving to me that my entire life's work seems to be pointless.
It's not pointless. Are you kidding me? You did so many.
Yes, that was very helpful.
I didn't mean to make you feel like that. I'm sorry.
Some kind of alien being, or perhaps a spirit.
I prefer not to talk too much about that, to be honest with you.
I'm not fond of the belief of spirits, and I have never met an alien before, so I'm not sure who you are.
I'm not really either one of them. Neither. Not really. Not truly.
All right.
Yeah. So you have to kind of get outside of the realm of those ideas in order to understand who I am.
Well, I've had a wonderful time here. It has been very confusing. And I'm
For me too.
Surrounded by very brightly colored lights.
It's just a disco in here.
That are flashing.
You don't know what that is. Everything flashes. It's giving me seizures. Yeah,
terrifying.
That's totally acceptable that you're not the first one to feel that way. But come on, you were staring down, redcoats, the English, who had rifles pointed at you. That's going to be a little bit more terrifying than a few blinking lights all over the place.
Yes, but back then, all I had to worry about were men in red coats coming at me. And this is...
It's just lights.
A bit different.
It's okay. It's a tad bit different, I suppose, from your perspective. I'm just used to it.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
I shall have to come back at some point, I suppose.
If you remember, would you like to come back at some point? Is that something? No, I didn't think you would.
I think I have more questions for you than you have for me.
I'm sure you do. And I can't answer most of them. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
May I say one thing to the Americans?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Will the Americans hear this?
They will, maybe.
Excellent.
I don't know. I'm hoping.
America of the future. I am George Washington. I was the first president of the United States, and I worked tirelessly to found your country. Our country. Please, stop watching this reality television. It makes me very concerned for the future of the country. All right? Something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. I do not understand what a Kardashian is.
I don't know either. I don't think anyone really does.
I don't know why you care.
I don't care. I just I just looked this stuff up. That's all. Oh, I saw a nice program, too, that came out of America called Hot or Not, and they have people stand in front of judges, and they determine what their body temperature is. And apparently, if your body temperature is high enough, you win the competition. I don't really get the point of that either.
People should be rated on whether they are how did you say it, hot or not?
Hot or not. I don't get the point of it either.
Or not.
Yeah, that's a thing down on Earth.
What kind of devilry is this?
I don't know what to tell you. It's just confusing for me as well.
I fear that America might have lost its way at some point.
At this point, you would think that.
Is there any way that I could explain to...
To who?
Will I remember this when I go back?
You will not. I'm sorry.
I won't.
No, you'll forget it all when
So I cannot do anything when I return?
No, it doesn't work.
To stem the tide of this foolishry.
It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You'll forget it all once you leave this place.
Perhaps ignorance really is bliss in this case.
You could look at it that way. Well, we're just about to wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming in, General or President Washington, whatever you want to be called now. And
thank you, Gap.
You're welcome.
You've been a very kind host, if not a very odd one.
That's okay. It is a whole new experience for you. President George Washington, everybody from America down on Earth.
Can I sign off now?
Of course.
Live long and prosper, America.
Ooh, I got to remember that one. Hope someone picked up on that.